Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Thinking Out Loud. This episode is going to be coming to you a bit late again, and I hate to keep rehashing old things, but there's a lot of stuff going on that's out of our control here, so they're going to come when they're going to come. It's unfortunate, but that's just how it is. But moving on, you guys see the title, so you already know what I'm going to talk about. We're going to talk about the wildfires in California. Apparently, some gender reveal parties got a bit out of hand in Northern California, around the Mendocino area, and yeah, some wildfires have been ravaging Northern California. The forests have been burnt down. There's been thousands of acres that have been damaged. We've seen, and we're hearing about a lot of homes in Oregon that have been burned down, just completely destroyed as a result of the fires and the winds that have been blowing them up north. A lot of people in Washington State and the state of Oregon have reported seeing red skies, and there's been a lot of pictures, a lot of videos. I don't really have the rights to those pictures, and also I wouldn't know how to incorporate it into this video, so yeah, it's a lot been going on. There's a lot of ash just covering the cities and a lot of property damage. My take on this, because you guys came here, gender reveal parties really shouldn't be going this out of hand. Because I'm not that old, but I remember a time when gender reveal parties, it would just be an expecting mother, an expecting father would have a cake made with either blue or pink interior to show the guests what they were going to be having. And even I've seen some instances of, having tires specially made, or laying down powder on the ground so you could do burnouts and see that, because that's what I thought. That's what I thought of doing. Should I ever decide to have children, which is a long way off. Yeah, it's just gotten out of hand, and I don't want to say California deserves it, because no one deserves to have their homes burned and thousands of acres of land just destroyed. And it's also going to be a major undertaking for California to get that back. It's going to be a lot of the taxes that are going to be filed, I think, next year is going to go towards repairing the wildlife. That's going to have to go to Parks and Recreation, if anything, because I know there's been some fires in the LA area, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing that they're spending less on police force, because to be honest, y'all gonna have a lot more to take care of besides just weapons. You're gonna need hospitals, because there's gonna be a lot of people that have been misplaced. A lot of people dealing with burns and things of that nature. Congress also has news. Let's just move on. Congress just released a statement saying that there is going to be a $1.3 trillion relief bill for, American citizens. It's apparently not going to include the second round of stimulus, because a lot of Republican representatives in the House had voted on this, and apparently a lot of Americans are not going to be receiving stimulus checks, which is, well, it's up to interpretation, because for me personally, I'm doing pretty well. I don't really spend that much, so I don't really need the stimulus check. But other people have different scenarios, so a lot of people are going to be hurt by this. And if I'm being honest, I just really want to get back to work, because I've enjoyed building this channel up to what it's been, and I'm gonna try to improve the content, as I said, improve the quality, and try to structure the episodes a bit better. We can get on a consistent basis of recording. But no stimulus checks. What I hope happens is that the hospitals can get their money, because we've seen with all the protests that that law enforcement is extremely well fed, extremely taken care of, but a lot of doctors, a lot of nurses are having to use trash bags to cover themselves, and they're gonna have to make makeshift masks for patients that are dealing with coronavirus, and we've seen the cases continually rise. We have thousands of cases here in my state of Florida, and just worldwide. Texas is cutting up as well. I think California still got its issues, and even New York. New York still got some issues, but they've seemed to be complacent. They're seeming to comply with orders and finally get around to listening to what the officials are telling them. And speaking of New York, New York Governor Cuomo reinstated the indoor dining in New York City, which is which is a good development because apparently the New Yorkers have finally gotten on their best behavior and they've been listening to what they're being told. There are going to be some restrictions though, because I do hear, because according to a tweet posted by Cuomo, which I do not have because I don't know how to edit that, it says that New York City will be reinstating indoor dining, but there will be some restrictions involved, such as any individual and their party will have to be temperature checked at the door by employees to make sure they're not exhibiting any signs or any symptoms of COVID-19, because it's still on high alert and the fear has sort of gone down, but the risk is very much real and present. Only 25% occupancy is allowed, so whatever the max occupancy is for a restaurant in New York City, you're only allowed to take 25%, and it's for safety measures, I'm sure. And we all know New York City is the city that never sleeps. Unfortunately, if you hope to dine indoors, you're gonna have to get there before 12, because after midnight, all restaurants must be closed except if you're a staff member. So, I guess they're just trying to make sure that the restaurants can get cleaned up. If anyone who is asymptomatic or someone who possibly has the virus and is just not being very considerate and somehow gets in, they want to make sure it's clean so there's lower risk for continued contamination, the spread of this thing that's been sweeping the nation for the past 9 months. Also, the tables will be 6 feet apart in all restaurants, I believe. I think it's going to be mandatory. I'm not sure how they're going to enforce that. Probably going to have someone from the States go over and check in, make sure that the tables are 6 feet apart exactly, and make sure all parties are temperature checked. And that's a good thing. I think it's a step in the right direction for not only for New York but as the country, for the country as a whole. I think as if we all start taking these into effect, because here in Florida, here in my city, we got a lot of restaurants that have been closed down, and I'm not 100% sure if they've reopened, if they've allowed indoor dining yet, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes, and like I reported a few weeks ago, Russia's developing a new vaccine, and Russia's president has enlisted the aid of a university to help, and he's even shown so much trust in them that he administered a vaccine to one of his children. So I think that's a big vote of confidence on his part, and hopefully America and other countries can continue the evolution and get a vaccine out. I know Canada has been working on something for a while. I just read that a university in Canada has been working on trials, and with the new relief bill, I'm hoping that we can give more money to hospitals so they can afford more clinical trials, more medicine, and just get somewhere in this hunt, because I would really like to go to work. I know other people would like to get to work. There are just a lot of people who are considered not essential that are still struggling, and I guess they would be hurt by the lack of a stimulus check for the second round, but it is what it is. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's this episode of Thinking Out Loud. Again, I apologize for being so late, but there's a lot of things that happen around here that's out of my control. If you have any countering opinions on, you know, the wildfires or anything to do with the relief bill or the stimulus checks, I'd like to talk about it. I'm open to discussions, an honest debate, if you will. If you know anyone who would appreciate this video, please don't hesitate to share it because we appreciate any engagement that we get. If you have any ideas for another video, please leave it in the comments below. And as always, this has been Thinking Out Loud. I will see you all next week.